those are the steps to retiring early. Those are the 5 steps to retiring early. If I can retire at 45, and if some nurses have retired before they're even 60, this is something that you can do too. Welcome back to the podcast. And today, actually, I am recording this and you can see me on YouTube. I'm going to be uploading it on YouTube. But welcome back to Scrubs and Stocks. And today's episode, I want to talk about early retirement and retirement planning in general. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I had a talk with a fellow nurse the other day. So we're talking about retirement, and she is in her 50s already, and she's like, I cannot retire because I'm not 60 yet. And I think that a lot of us are under the assumption that retirement means 60 to 65 years old, right? And I always tell people, especially you, my audience, that retirement is not an age. And it's crazy because every time we look up the word retirement, the first thing that pops up typically is a picture of 2 old people sitting by the beach, or like both of them holding hands in the sunset, and like it's always people with gray hair, like depicting that this is something only for old people. And so I think this was my mindset too before. As a nurse, I've always been around nurses who worked until they're 60, who worked bedside until retirement. And I've always thought that this is the only path for me, that there's no option for me to retire early. And even the concept of retiring early is almost like frowned upon, especially in my culture where hard work is so glamorized. And yeah, so whenever I tell people that I want to retire early, a lot of people have the connotation that this is something that lazy people do, where in fact, like, I actually love working. So if you like working too, but you don't want work to be something that is forced upon you in order for you to survive, then this video is for you, or this podcast is for you. But anyway, so we're going to talk about how to retire early as a nurse. And before we really dive into, the specifics, it's really important to grasp the concept of early retirement. So traditional retirement typically occurs when you're in your 60s, and the average retirement age right now is actually 67 years old, and there has been news where they want to increase this number up to 70. But early retirement, on the other hand, occurs before you reach that traditional age. So this is typically people in their 40s or 50s. Personally, for me, I want to retire when I turn 45. And when I say retirement, it does not mean that I'm going to stop completely working in general, right? Like, a lot of people are under the assumption that for people like me who wants to retire early, it means not completely working, just sitting by the beach, or like, just doing nothing all day. I love working, and it may be unpopular opinion. And if you're like me, who actually love the work that you do and find, some sort of fulfillment in the work that you do that helps other people, then this may be an option for you. So first of all, what you need to do is to set your retirement goals. So the first step really is setting clear, achievable goals. And this includes like setting a time or determining that retirement age, and what your expenses and what your lifestyle would be when you reach that age. For me, I want to retire, like I had mentioned, at 45 years old. What my lifestyle would be is I want to be able to work as a nurse practitioner still, maybe doing part-time or per diem work, but mostly working on my business and helping other people, working, less hours. My kids are really young right now. They're about 4 and 2, and I really want to be able to be present with them, like as they get older. So the ideal, life for me, or like ideal day for me, would be me being able to drop them off at school, pick them up, help them with their homework, do fun activities with them throughout the weekend, throughout the end of the day. And so that is the vision that I have for me when I say I want to retire early. And I think that if you are pretty clear on what your goals are when it comes to your retirement, it will help you become focused on your objectives. So one of the things that you also need to do in order for you to retire early is to determine what your freedom number is, or what everybody says is the FIRE number. And FIRE, if you don't know, is like a movement that means financial independence, retire early. But I typically say it's relax early, because you want to do other things besides not working. And so this movement just means that you're able to reach a state or a number or an investment amount where you don't necessarily have to rely on your full-time job to pay for your expenses. And so for me, my freedom number is 2 million. And at 45 years old, I'll be able to reach this. In order for you to be able to calculate this number, you do what they call is the 4% rule. So the 4% rule just states that you can live off of 4% of your investment, amount, and not run out of money for the next 30 years if you just calculate that number. So in order to calculate that number, you have to get your annual expenses at retirement, divide it by 0.04 and multiply it by 20, or multiply it by 25, and you'll get that number. So for me, that would be around $2 million, $1.5 to $2 million. But that's just for me, not including my husband, because my husband does not plan on early retirement. He wants to work until he's 60, which would probably change later on. But anyways, like that's it for the meantime. But once you have that number in mind, you have to work hard to get that number at that age. So you have to calculate it. And in order to do that, you have to increase your income. So increasing your income is so crucial to accelerating your journey to retire early. And the reasoning for that is because a big part of your investments is going to heavily rely on how high your savings rate is. Your savings rate is the amount of money that you set aside for savings or investments. So for me, what I did to increase my income in the last years that I have been planning this early retirement is, number one, I pursue my nurse practitioner degree. So this may not be the case for some people. Some people are not able to make more money as a nurse practitioner, but it has definitely worked for me. I used to make around $28 per hour as a nurse, but I have tripled that income now that I'm a nurse practitioner, and I work less hours too. So that is one thing that I did. The second thing that I did is I job hopped. So all throughout my nursing career, I have changed jobs every 2 to 3 years, and that has increased my income by moving to a different state, or no, a different city in the same state. I'm from California, by the way. And that has increased my income. Number 3 is investing in professional development. So if you need certifications at your jobs, some hospitals, they do pay more for certified nurses, or if you work, in a specialty clinic. And lastly, starting a side hustle. I started my side hustle last year, and I have made over 6 figures in this side hustle, which I can talk more about in a different, podcast episode. But those are the things that I did in order for me to increase my income. Increasing your income is so essential if you really want to retire early. So once you have your number in mind, you're increasing your income, you have to also work on paying off your debt, because your debt has it's an obstacle really to early retirement, especially if you have credit card debt because of the interest. So if you have high interest debt like credit card debt, you have to prioritize paying that off while you're investing in order for you to be able to reach early retirement. If you have student loans like me, I actually paid off my student loans already, but there are a lot of programs that you can also do to pay off your student loans. You also need to avoid lifestyle inflation, because as you increase your income, try not to also increase your expenses along with that. A lot of people say that the way to really increase your income, the way to be successful or like invest more is for you to be able to either increase your income or cut down on your expenses. And I think that the big part of you being able to reach this goal of early retirement is really focusing on not letting a lifestyle creep get into your way, and maintaining your expenses while you're able to make more money for yourself. Once you have these things in mind, you know when your early retirement is, you know how much you should be investing to reach that retirement, number at your retirement ages. You also have to examine your portfolio once in a while to see if you're still on track on reaching that goals. It's really important that you need to constantly reorient yourself and reorganize your retirement funds according to your financial goals and your retirement age, and also your health. And early retirement really is one of those things that is an option for people who invest. And I think that if this is for you, then great. But if you plan on retiring at 60 or 65 or at retirement age, that's fine too. But it's still important to have this in mind. That way you can have a dignified retirement, and you have the money when you retire at a certain age. I know that early retirement is probably one of those things that most of you have been thinking about, and most of you did not even think it's an option for you. Remember that retirement is not an age, it's a number. It's when you can actually live off of your investments and pay your expenses with your investments, that you don't need to rely on your full-time work to survive. So, in recap, number 1, you need to know your retirement goals. Number 2, calculate how much your expenses are going to be at retirement, and know what your lifestyle is going to be. Are you going to be retiring in the Philippines? Are you going to be retiring here? Are you going to live off a van or like live off the grid or whatever? So know and project like how much expenses you're going to have when you retire. Number 3 is calculating how much you need to invest to get to that retirement age. And if you want to know that, I actually have a retirement planner for you that you can download in the show notes below, and you can download that. I used to give this out for free in my investment classes that you can sign up for, but I'm giving it to you for free right now. And once you know that number that you have to invest every month in order to get to that number, then you have to find ways to make more money, make more income to reach and do that investment goal every month. So if that includes you switching jobs or finding a new job that pays more, or even starting a side hustle, then that's something that you can also do to accelerate your journey. Number 5 is making sure that you are on track and examining your investment portfolio every once in a while to make sure that your goals and your investing, amount is still aligned with that retirement age. So those are the steps to retiring early. Those are the 5 steps to retiring early. And I want you to know that this is something that's possible for you. Like, if I can retire at 45, and if some nurses have retired before they're even 60, this is something that you can do too. But yeah, so think of that as you work your shift today. Make sure that you are always and constantly thinking of making your money work for you. And yeah, so hopefully that this episode is helpful for you. I hope to see you in the next episode. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And my DM is always open as usual. Stay hydrated, stay invested. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.